They say quarterbacks must stand tall in the pocket, and some take that quite literally. While the average height of NFL signal callers has inched up to an impressive 6'3", we want to look at the most noteworthy outliers. Here are the tallest and shortest quarterbacks since the AFL-NFL merger. Since 1970, there have been 26 quarterbacks listed at 6'6" or taller, and just 11 below the 6-foot threshold. Let's start with some 6.5-foot passers. The 6'6" Joe Flacco is a legend in Baltimore, breaking multiple team records throughout his 11-year tenure. In 2012, he put on a postseason performance for the ages, including a Super Bowl 47 MVP.
Play action fake to Rice. Flacco has Pitta for the touchdown. Touchdown Baltimore. Joe Flacco, the MVP of the Super Bowl.
Matt Schaub compiled a solid 16-year NFL career, headlined by an impressive stint in Houston.
Matt Schaub with time, dances, fires inside, touchdown! The Texans take their first lead of the game.
In 7 seasons, Schaub would go to 2 Pro Bowls for the Texans and remains the franchise leader in completions, yards, and touchdowns. Scott Mitchell played 5 of his 11 NFL seasons in Detroit and would retire as the Lions' second all-time passing leader despite playing just 3 full seasons. Then there's Nick Foles, one of history's tallest underdogs.
They're going to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught. Foles, touchdown.
Nick Foles was unbelievable tonight.
Foles went from backup to Super Bowl MVP in 2017, leading the Eagles to their first Lombardi Trophy in epic fashion. Derek Anderson would have one of history's most random Pro Bowl seasons in 2007, throwing for nearly 3,800 yards and 29 touchdowns in his only full season of his career.
The corner blitz, and they pick it up. Anderson all alone. Edwards! Is it a touchdown? Yes, there's the signal. He skidded into the end zone.
Josh Freeman was the 17th overall pick in 2009 and provided 4 solid seasons for Tampa. In 2010, Freeman led the league with 5 fourth-quarter comebacks and threw for nearly 3,500 yards, 22 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions. Young phenom Justin Herbert is the tallest QB ever to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. At age 22, he threw for over 4,300 yards and 31 scores.
Snap fit to his right. Herbert is being chased, thrown on the run, and it is caught. Touchdown!
But not everyone had success. 6'6" Jamarcus Russell was the top pick in 2007, but failed to make an impact, playing just 31 career games for the Raiders. Dave Brown went first overall in the 1992 supplemental draft and managed to secure a starting job for 3 straight seasons in New York before finishing his career as the Cardinals' backup. Bill Belichick's third-round pick in 2011, Ryan Mallett, was Brady's backup for 2 seasons before landing in Houston. Mallett would start 6 games for the Texans, throwing for nearly 1,200 yards and 5 touchdowns before finishing out his career in Baltimore. Let's go even taller, though. In 1970, the Packers drafted tight end Frank Patrick. But because of an off-season strike, the 6'7" rookie would eventually suit up at quarterback, becoming the tallest QB ever at the time. Despite collegiate success as a passer for Nebraska, Patrick struggled in the NFL and would play in just 4 games over 3 seasons, finishing his career with 107 yards and no touchdowns. Next up is Mike Glennon, who dominated the ACC after spending 2 years as Russell Wilson's backup at NC State, despite being 8 inches taller. Tampa drafted the 6'7" rookie in 2013, where he would start 13 games and throw for over 2,500 yards and 19 scores. The following year, Glennon reclaimed his starting job with an impressive game-winning drive in Pittsburgh.
Did he get it? Touchdown, Vincent Jackson, with 7 seconds to go.
In the draft prior, Denver took a flyer on the equally hulking Brock Osweiler. Brock spent 3 years holding the clipboard behind Peyton Manning, but seized his moment in 2015, starting in 7 games before Manning returned for the Broncos' Super Bowl run. A year later, Osweiler signed a mammoth deal in Houston where he'd throw a franchise record 16 interceptions in his lone season in the Lone Star State.
Osweiler in trouble, steps up, now throws, and it's intercepted again!
But if at first you don't succeed, try again. In 2016, the Broncos reached for another 6'7" prospect, drafting Paxton Lynch 26th overall. Lynch was coming off a record-breaking college season, recording 7 first-half touchdowns in a single game before declaring for the draft. But Lynch failed to find his footing in the big leagues and wound up in just 5 games before eventually landing in the CFL. In 1991, 6'8" Dan McGuire became the tallest quarterback in history when Seattle drafted him in the middle of the first round. Despite spending his rookie season as a backup, he was widely expected to be the Seahawks QB of the future.
Pressure on McGuire. He overshoots his man. It's intercepted by Mike Pryor.
But McGuire, brother of MLB slugger Mark, by the way, played in just 13 career games despite being selected before 12 other quarterbacks in the '91 draft, including Hall of Famer Brett Favre. The only other 6'8" quarterback is the towering Matt Blunden, who earned ACC Player of the Year honors during his senior year at Virginia. But like McGuire, he faltered in the pros, making just a single appearance in each of his first 2 seasons for the Chiefs. In 1997, Blunden made a brief NFL return to Detroit, where he attempted a single pass, the final one of his career.
London back to throw and hit as he throws. Intercepted, Pounds at the 20, and he'll score. Touchdown, Washington.
So what about the little guys? 8 quarterbacks since the merger have been listed at 5'11", the most notable being perennial Pro Bowler Russell Wilson.
Well, now that their game's going to mean a lot. Wilson's got space. Got nobody downfield, though. Making it up. Cue the circus music. Wilson throwing for Baldwin. Oh, my goodness, he caught him. And there goes Baldwin down the sideline. Vintage Seahawk play. Baldwin out of bounds inside the 5.
Russell Wilson does the whole Russell Wilson thing, and then you just throw it up, and he out-jumps
Antoine
Bethea.
7 Pro Bowls and a Lombardi Trophy later, Wilson's height is an afterthought. The veteran signal caller is one of football's most exciting talents, punishing pass rushers and secondaries with his unique blend of speed, strength, and skill. He has more wins than any quarterback through his first 9 seasons and is the Seahawks' all-time passing leader. Funny enough, the Seahawks gambled on another undersized quarterback just years before, drafting Seneca Wallace in 2003. The speedster was a dual threat in college, and Seattle also used him in a variety of ways. But don't get it twisted, Wallace was a quarterback. He even holds the franchise record for longest touchdown pass, despite starting in just 22 career games.
At the 10-yard line, getting the pass rush and going deep to Corin Robinson, getting past Dawkins. Touchdown!
Now a fixture on the New Orleans sidelines, the 5'11" Sean Payton was actually a player first, appearing in 3 games for the Spare Bears during the 1987 strike season. He threw just 23 career passes, completing 7 while amassing 79 yards and no touchdowns. Meanwhile, his 1 interception, coincidentally enough, came against the Saints. Although Payton is one of the shortest quarterbacks in modern history, he's just an inch shorter than his franchise quarterback Drew Brees.
3rd and 1 at the Dallas 4. Hayden takes a snap, good protection. He keeps it around the left side. He's at the 2. He dives in the end zone for a touchdown.
Another surprising name is Pat Hayden, drafted by the Rams in 1975. Hayden began his career as a 3rd stringer before leading the Rams to an upset playoff victory over Tom Landry's Cowboys. It would be the first of 3 straight division titles with Hayden under center. The undersized QB earned a Pro Bowl nod in '77, and the following year he threw for nearly 3,000 yards en route to a 12-4 record and a Super Bowl appearance versus the legendary Steel Curtain defense. Ed Hargett was a Texas A&M legend in the late 60s before landing in New Orleans, where he'd see sporadic playing time as a pro. He earned his first start in 1970, posting 220 yards and a touchdown against the Rams. Over his career, the 5'11" Hargett threw 11 touchdowns and orchestrated 3 fourth-quarter comebacks in his limited action, eventually losing the starting job to Archie Manning in 1971. Despite starting just 8 career games, George Myra is permanently etched into NFL lore through one of history's most bewildering plays.
Myra straight back to pass, looking, now stops, throws, completes it to Kilmer up at the 30-yard line. Kilmer driving for the first down, loses the football. It's picked up by Jim Marshall, who's running the wrong way. Marshall is running the wrong way, and he's running it into the end zone the wrong way, thinks he scored a touchdown. He has scored a safety.
In 1967, he logged a career-high 324 yards and 2 touchdowns against the hapless Falcons and followed it up with 3 more touchdowns a week later. Myra totaled 17 career scores in his 5 seasons with the Niners before reaching Super Bowl VII as Bob Greasy's backup in Miami during the 1971 season. Drafted by both the Eagles and the AFL's Broncos in 1964, Bob Berry spent 11 seasons in the NFL, but played for neither. Berry spent his first 3 seasons in Minnesota, starting in just 1 game before signing with the Falcons, where his career would blossom. He was Atlanta's primary signal caller for 5 seasons, earning a Pro Bowl nod in 1969 and leading the league with an impressive 8.9 yards per attempt 2 years later.
3 at the 17. Walker, protection collapsing late, but Samuel open in the end zone. He's got it for the touchdown.
Then there's P.J. Walker, Temple University's all-time leading passer. Despite his college accolades, Walker went undrafted and was originally signed in 2017, but he didn't see his first NFL action until the 2020 season, where he notched his first career win with the Panthers. Walker returned to Carolina in 2021, serving as the backup to Sam Darnold and Cam Newton. And now, for the shortest of them all, at 5'10", this QB is already a household name.
Shotgun. Murray out of the pocket. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. Murray heaves it downfield. It is. Oh, it's caught! It's Murray magic!
Kyler Murray has defied conventional wisdom, winning Offensive Rookie of the Year while setting multiple single-season records for the Cardinals, all while being the shortest player ever drafted first overall. In 2020, Murray improved his numbers across the board, totaling nearly 4,800 combined yards and 37 total scores. Despite his size, Murray's legend continues to grow.
Murray reverses. Murray looks long. He's got a receiver. Moore with a blocker. Rondale Moore, the rookie touchdown, Arizona. Wow!
5'10", Joe Hamilton is Georgia Tech's all-time passing leader. He won the Davey O'Brien Award in 1999, named after another tiny quarterback we'll mention shortly. Hamilton played sparingly, though, in the NFL. He earned some preseason reps with the Colts back in 2004 and played just 4 regular season snaps for the Buccaneers. Finally, there's Doug Flutie, who played 12 NFL seasons over 21 years. Flutie debuted in 1986, but departed for the CFL after 4 mediocre seasons for the Bears and Pats. But the 5'10" Flutie made an improbable return in 1998, earning Comeback Player of the Year honors and a Pro Bowl nod with the Bills.
Flutie keeping left side touchdown.
He would lead Buffalo to consecutive playoff berths before putting up nearly 3,500 yards for the Chargers 2 seasons later. So while this list focuses on players post-merger, we wanted to give a shout out to some of history's original undersized QBs before we wrap up. The league was very different in the mid-1900s, and player size didn't vary much between positions. That's how you had guys like 5'7" Davey O'Brien, a college football phenom whose name is now synonymous for passing excellence. In the NFL, he threw for a then-record 1,324 yards his rookie season in Philly before retiring 2 years later.
LeBaron hasn't finished his aerial chores yet. He pegs a perfect pass to Fadoli, and Jim has himself a touchdown.
And then finally, Eddie LeBaron, despite being just 5'8", was a 3-time Pro Bowler in Washington and in 1960 became the Cowboys' first ever starting quarterback. So there you have it, from the cloud scrapers to the sub-6-footers. You should never judge a book by its cover. These signal callers demonstrate that there's no such thing as too small or tall enough when it comes to quarterbacking in the NFL.